Israeli politics is dominated by the right wing, with politicians competing on who can be more hawkish when it comes to the Palestinians. So where does that leave Israelis like Miko Peled? He's an anti-Zionist activist, the son of a former Israeli army general and served in the military himself. I'm Abu Bakr Shamahi, you're watching TRT World, and this is One on One. So Miko, thank you for joining us. We're currently hearing talk about Donald Trump's deal of the century along with Jared Kushner as well. What's the likelihood that Donald Trump is going to be able to bring peace to Israel and Palestine?
Absolutely zero. Not a single chance in the world that Donald Trump can bring peace. The deal of the century is a program that was put together by Benjamin Netanyahu, Jared Kushner, perhaps David Friedman, the American ambassador in Tel Aviv, people who have a single agenda, which is to deprive the Palestinians of their rights, of their land, of their water, of their life.
And is that why Donald Trump perhaps is so popular amongst many Israelis?
Yes, of course. When he came to visit in Jerusalem, I think 2 years ago, I was actually there. And it was a love affair. I've never seen such a love affair. And the reason they loved him so much, this is what they said. It was in the news, it was everywhere. He did not bring a peace plan. He did not bring a program. He had no suggestions. He had no deal. He was just there to tell them they can do whatever they want and be happy.
You know, you've got Netanyahu on one side, you've got Trump on the other side. Netanyahu himself, recently re-elected as Prime Minister, again very popular. What's the secret to his popularity in Israel amongst Israelis?
Well, he's a very smart politician. He knows how to play the game very well. He's got more experience than any other Israeli politician. And he has a list of accomplishments that no Israeli Prime Minister has ever had. He managed to get the United States to recognize Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel. He managed to get the United States to break out of the deal with Iran. He managed to get the United States to stop funding UNRWA, the United Nations Agency for Refugees, and basically to say there are no refugees. He managed to get the United States to kick out the Palestinian mission, diplomatic mission from Washington, D.C. on the anniversary of the Oslo Agreement, almost the 25th anniversary of the Oslo Agreement, almost to the day is when they closed the mission in Washington, D.C.
Now you've got a big badge on there that says BDS, of course in reference to boycott, divestment, sanctions, the call to boycott Israel. How successful has the BDS movement been?
It's been so successful that in the last presidential elections in the United States, every candidate had to speak up against it. In other words, it's come to a point where it's recognized globally, internationally, as a relevant part of the Palestinian resistance, as the Palestinian fight for justice and freedom and equality.
Now you yourself have been accused of anti-Semitism by some on the pro-Israeli side in the past. You made certain comments on Twitter, for example, I think or saying that Jews perhaps have a reputation for being sleazy thieves. Aren't those kind of comments detrimental for the Palestinian cause when someone like yourself as a Palestinian defender makes some of those kind of comments?
No, I don't think there was anything wrong with the comments I made. The comments I made were truthful. What I said was, and I'm paraphrasing, when Israel receives $4 billion a year in foreign aid, Israel is a rich country, it does not need foreign aid. The only reason they receive the foreign aid is because of the mafia-style backhanded politics that they engage in. Now, regardless of that, and speaking of anti-Semitism, Jews have been characterized as sleazy, as thieves, as money-loving, and so forth. Now, of course, this is a racist slur. At the same time, it exists. This is exactly what the state of Israel is doing. It is behaving in a sleazy manner when it is demanding this money from the United States. They don't need the money, they don't deserve the money. So are they being sleazy? Absolutely. And they are behaving like sleazy thieves? Absolutely. That doesn't mean that I'm not saying Jews are sleazy thieves. I'm saying there's this reputation and now Israel is behaving in that way.
Miko Peled, thank you very much for joining us on TRT World. Thank you.